Hi, Sunnyside students. This is Mrs. Rick, and today I'm going to talk to you about building your own creative collection at home. So, what is a creative collection? Well, we're going to go on a creative collection hunt. There are lots of things in your home that might seem kind of like junk, but guess what? They can be used to create new things. Over the next few weeks, you will hunt for items at home and build your own creative collection. So let's get hunting. The first thing you need to do is get a brown paper grocery bag or a plastic Target bag or a big cardboard box that hasn't been folded down yet. That can work too. Here's an example. I got this from underneath my sink where we just kind of keep these for good use. We also store all of our recycling in these. So you grab your brown paper bag, and that's what you're going to use to collect all of your treasures, to collect the things that you are looking for. There are 4 things that you're going to look for to build your creative collection so that you can create things at home. The first thing we're going to talk about is materials. Then we'll move on to connectors, and then tool, and then color. Let's start with materials. Take a look at some of these examples. This is what we're talking about when we talk about materials. Look at all of these items. Milk jugs, water bottles, egg cartons, without the eggs, of course, laundry detergent bottles, but of course, after they've been cleaned out and emptied, soup cans. Up here, this refers to mail, junk mail. You'd be surprised how much paper we throw away, or even if we put it in the recycling, a lot of it really can be reused again. Things like caps to bottles, boxes, straws, Q-tips, lots of different things that can become materials. Now, this is a long list of items, and you'll be able to see this list again at the end. But let's take a look at some of the things on here. So for example, here is an empty strawberry container. Okay, this is something that after being cleaned out, I could put in my brown paper bag just to add to my creative collection. You never know what something like that can be used for. Another item might be empty plastic bottles. Now, you're not going to save every single plastic bottle that your family gets rid of. That would be a lot of stuff. But pick a few, clean them out, and add them to your creative collection. Other items? I found this in my recycling just this morning. It's an empty vitamin bottle. These are my kids' vitamins. It's a nice thick bottle. I can think of a lot of ways that I could use this at home. So I'm going to keep that. Other things that you might use at home. My family, I have little kids at my house, and they like these things. When we're done and we open them up, we end up with a lot of these kinds of caps. Ooh, there we go. We end up with a lot of these. Think about things at your house that your family eats on a regular basis. Think about the containers that item might come in. Is that something that could be reused for designing things, creating things, engineering new things? We also eat a lot of applesauce at our house, and we tend to eat it out of these little plastic cups. Now think about how easy it would be to rinse these out when we're done and then stack them. They won't take up a lot of room in our bag, but I can slowly add to my stack. We don't have a lot of these anymore, but if you have a little baby at home who eats these kinds of items, these little rectangular containers are awesome for building your creative collection. I have even started collecting toilet paper rolls. Look at that. I have a whole bag of them actually. I've hung them up, and I've asked my family that when a toilet paper roll comes to the end, to grab that roll and put it in that plastic bag, and I just have this hanging from a cabinet in my kitchen. All right, other items, chopsticks, coffee filters, newspaper, all different kinds of paper plates, Kleenex boxes, things like styrofoam cups or the little metal containers that mints come in sometimes. Wax paper and wrapping paper. Maybe you wrap something up and there's a little bit of wrapping paper left. You never know what that could come in handy for. So those are some ideas to get you started. The next thing we need to look for are connectors. So connectors are going to be things that we can use that bind the materials together. So for example, if I have, let's say, this bottle and I want to attach something to it, I'm going to need something to connect it or attach it. Look at these examples of connectors on the screen. We have things like yarn or string or wire. We have things like clothespins, binder clips are these right down here, and paper clips. We have obvious things like tape, and there's a lot of different kinds of tape out there. There's electrical tape that's really sticky, and it tends to, sometimes it's black. There's duct tape, which tends to be like a gray, and it's very, very sticky and heavy duty. You have to really cut it. You can hardly rip it. You have to usually get a scissors. There's, again, the Scotch tape like this. There's masking tape, which is kind of a whitish, creamish color. And there's painter's tape, which tends to be like blue or green. There's all different kinds of tape out there. Then we have glue and glue sticks. We have things like twisty ties that come around your loaves of bread. We have rubber bands. There's all different things out there that can be connectors. And so take a peek around your house and start looking for those things. And even if you can't find options right now, I want you to be on the hunt over the next few weeks and over the next few months, adding to your collection. So you'll start to notice things. You'll be using your detective eyes. All right, so here's a list again of connectors: binder clips, bobby pins that you use for your hair, clothespins and glue. You can use hot glue, but only with permission. Paper clips, even Play-Doh, or things like, believe it or not, marshmallows or chunks of gummies can be really useful for attaching things together or connecting things like toothpicks, for example. Ribbon and rubber bands, even stickers can help attach things together. Now, number 3 is tools. And there actually are 3 things you need in terms of tools. You need pencils or a pencil, a ruler, and scissors. Those are 3 things that are going to be really helpful. Why do we need those things? Well, when we have something that we want to cut down, for example, like cardboard, we would want to be able to cut it. And sometimes we need to cut it to a certain length, which brings in our ruler and our pencil. The last thing is color. Color is a huge part of creating and designing. So these are kind of the obvious ones, but chalk, colored pencils, crayons, even food coloring. Be careful of food coloring. Make sure you talk to your parents first because that dyes really easily. Markers, paint, and pens. These are all ways that you can add color to your creations and your designs. So a few tips. Number 1, search the rooms in your home with a collector brain and detective eyes to really look for objects that you might throw away and then look at them in a new way. You'd be surprised. In my recycling bin this morning, I pulled out some junk mail. Like I said, I pulled out that vitamin bottle. I even pulled out this catalog that I didn't want, but I'll talk to you about why that might be helpful. So check that recycling bin, check your junk drawer, check your craft supply cabinet, anywhere that you have permission to check, and then tell your family members what you're doing. Like I told my family about my toilet paper rolls. Okay? And so now everybody's kind of on board to help me collect toilet paper rolls because those can be really handy when creating. Now, when you're breaking down cardboard boxes, whether they're big Amazon kinds of boxes or whether they're small boxes like this popcorn box that has my microwave popcorn in it, you're going to want to break them down. Now, a simple box like this or a cereal box, you are just going to separate the tabs really carefully, fold them all up like this, and then you're just going to flatten it. And you could probably even fold it in half. This is how we put it in our recycling so that it takes up less room. When you're doing a larger box like an Amazon box, you're going to need something that's slightly sharp to slice down the edges so that you can unfold it. It's kind of like taking a three-dimensional shape or a 3D shape and unfolding it into a net. So an object that might work might even be like a pen tip. You could slice a pen across the tape that holds the box together. And then if you ever need to reassemble the box and put it back together, you can just get some tape. Now, believe it or not, envelopes and the back of junk mail are great ways to get little pieces of paper. For example, this ad came in the mail today. It's for, I don't know, a dental company to go to the dentist. Now, I don't need this. I already have a dentist, but this is thick, kind of cardboard type of paper. So I'm going to hold on to it because you never know when I need a piece of cardboard or thicker paper. That's not always easy to find. This catalog that I found, I don't really care that much about the catalog, but inside this catalog is a sample Christmas card. And if I pull that off, now I have kind of a heavy duty, you can kind of see it here, the sound that it makes, a heavy duty, thicker piece of cardboard, or card stock is what that's called when it's kind of between cardboard and paper. So I'm going to stick that in my brown paper bag because you never know when something thicker like that will come in handy. I think that's all that I really need out of this page. Oh, no, there's another one in here. I'm going to tear this one out too. It's a little bit thicker. You never know how that could come in handy. You can see on the screen here, you could take envelopes, slice down the edges, and you could cut off that little window. And you never know, the window might actually come in handy too for some type of project. But you can cut that up into bits of notebook paper, if you can see right down there. So envelopes don't just have to be junk. Also, use the back of paper. Papers come in many forms and sizes and have two sides to them. So even if the front has writing all the way down it or typing all the way down it, often the back will be blank. Reuse it. Good for the environment. Now, there is a creative collection hunt idea printable list here. The hunt doesn't stop here. You're going to keep adding to your collection over time. So this isn't something where you'll collect it and in a week you'll be done with it. You're going to keep building this over the course of the school year. Keep adding to it and then keep using from it. And take a look at our list here. We've got all of the materials that were listed. We've got the connectors to connect pieces together and attach them, the 3 tools, and then the different things to add in color. So you're able to print this at home or open it up. All right. If you have any questions, let your teachers know, your specialist teachers, particularly me and Mrs. Vanderbilt, and we can help you out. Good luck hunting and finding things to add to your creative collection.